the Trump administration. This as a U.S. Navy destroyer makes a move into the Red Sea, the USS Cole. A lot of people remember that name from the destroyer that came under attack off the coast of Yemen. This comes after a number of provocations by Iran, 16 actually, since signing the UN nuclear agreement in July 2015, at least 5 ballistic missile tests, 4 under President Obama, 1 under President Trump, 1 what's called highly provocative rocket test, 7 incidents of harassment with the U.S. military in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz, and those, of course, those fast boats confronting U.S. Navy vessels. Let's start here on foreign policy with the Trump administration and bring in our panel from Washington tonight. Steve Hayes, editor-in-chief of the Weekly Standard, Lisa Booth, columnist with the Washington Examiner, and Tim Farley, host and managing editor of Morning Briefing POTUS on Sirius XM Radio. Okay, Steve, this action by the administration, obviously these had been planned as an option under the Obama administration, but deployed under the Trump administration.
Well, and thank goodness, this is such a long time overdue. If you think back about the way that Iran has behaved over the past decade, whether you're talking about deliberately targeting and killing U.S. personnel in Iraq and Afghanistan, whether you're talking about funding a variety of terrorist groups, whether you're talking about providing what Osama bin Laden himself called the main artery for al-Qaeda, whether you're talking about providing support for Palestinian terrorist groups, the provocations that you mentioned, any of a number of reasons that we can point to over the past decade that has allowed Iran to establish itself as the foremost state sponsor of terror in the world, means that these actions are wildly overdue. When was the last time that you heard anybody stand at the White House podium, as General Flynn did the other day, and suggest that what Iran was doing was wrong? We just haven't heard that for 8 years, and it's long overdue. I'm glad that we had this kind of forceful statement. I think the Trump administration is exactly right to do this, and what's so shocking to me is that you would have objections from Democrats like Chris Murphy. I mean, it's hard to imagine having anybody have a problem with scolding the Iranian regime, given what we've seen the regime do in its hostility toward the United States over the past decade, really longer.